Said hit. What now?
Hit deck B. Play. Okay. Now go up to the top. Deck A. Deck A. To your left. Pull that thing all the way down. Pull it, drag. Stop it and drag it. Drag the thing all the way over.
This one?
Yeah. Now hit play. No, you hit play.
Here?
Yep. Now move it back up. Yeah, you can bring it down to the go back. Yeah, right there.
Okay.
So next gonna be another commercial and a disclaimer. So they're gonna come on automatic by themselves. Okay, do me a favor. Can I borrow a microphone? Remote very quick?
Yeah, of course.
Excuse me.
No,
right there. I just want to do this.
If you owe $25,000 on 5 different credit cards and you make your minimum payments every month, here's what it's going to cost you. Are you sitting down?
Hello.
13 grand in additional interest, and it's going to take over 13 years to pay off your original $25,000 balance. That's how they
the show started. They're gonna come on, the disclaimer come on next, then your intro, and then you start talking.
I think somebody died right by the food depot. Smokes all over the place.
Sitting there.
Will reduce your debt. Call right now for a free 15-minute debt analysis. 800-593-0297.
I know, but you know what I'm saying? You walking in, you know how I go.
And I downloaded I had to reroute myself.
So I'm gonna do this.
Show are those of the hosts and guests, and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Cluster Radio Media LLC.
It's our didn't reflect whatever we think.
And are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.
You should be here somewhere. It's going to be 21 seconds. So we do put this down right here. Because I know you're going to stop talking in a matter of seconds. So.
What happened to the show thing?
It's just playing. You live.
Oh. Welcome. We're back again, yet another Thursday here with the Wealth Code Unlocked. You got your boy AC, the Money Guy, here with my lovely and talented co-host, Dr. Shannon Huie, the Tax Diva. So, man, today was a little bit crazy, right? Just getting in here, traffic, all that good stuff, man. A whole lot going on. But I guess that's kind of, I guess we're used to it in Atlanta. That's why we always say, always say in Atlanta that that we're either 20 minutes or 2 hours from everything. Yes. So interesting. We'll have to. That's why we always say between 20 minutes and 2 hours. So how is the school year jumping off?
Oh, the school year is jumping off okay. I'm seeing an increase in more boys in school. That is a positive note. Yeah, some of the classroom have more boys than girls. Right now in my classroom, there is 22 boys and 2 girls. So, yeah,
wow,
African American
22 boys and 2 girls.
22 boys, and so that's a positive because we see a lot of male. We need males, and usually the female dominate. But now we've seen that there's more male. I'm Dr. Shannon C. Huie. I'm the owner of TaxNet LLC, and I am the Tax Diva. Welcome to our broadcast about business and finance and looking through the lens of our community, because that's what we're here about, community. How was your week, Aaron?
Man, my week was very, very busy. A lot of good stuff happening. I guess as we all know in business, you got 2 kinds of busy. You got good busy and bad busy. It was good busy. It was a lot of stuff going on with clients, a lot of new business coming in, helping a lot of businesses with some working capital, and some great insurance conversations this week. A lot of really good stuff going on. So yeah, I was very, very excited about that. So so the real money minute. So just a couple of things I was noticing like this week since the last time we did the show that I thought were pretty interesting. I thought might be a good topic for us. One is that the Feds actually did not move the interest rates. You know, folks were expecting them to raise that up a little bit, just considering with market pressures and whatnot. But they decided to leave it steady. So so that's good news for all the businesses out there who might need some working capital, people who need to borrow money. That's great news. It means rates will not be going up in the immediate future. So you know, thought that was a good thing. So plenty of money out there.
Is there a lot of money or the interest rate is lower? Because I've heard right now that unemployment is dipping again.
Well, you know, that's a good thing. But, you know, you always have to wonder, like, when it comes down to like the unemployment numbers, especially when you think about cities like Atlanta, like how many people do you know that can't even remember the last time they filled out an application? Like they're just self-employed, they're entrepreneurs, they're out there. So so you know, that I always kind of take those numbers with a grain of salt. But I mean, you never know, man. You never know what's going on out there. So yeah.
So what is our topic this week? Because I know last week we talked about empowering in the security fields. Like we never had someone that had a security business, but last week we had a client that was talking about security as a business. What is our business that we're showcasing this week?
Well, this week we didn't have a special guest, so I want to put a challenge out there to our listeners. I actually posted this on social media. Please let us know some of your favorite businesses, people who you love to hear from, your favorite entrepreneurs, those people that inspire you. We would love to invite them out to come on out and be a part of the show. So we don't have a guest this week. I got a couple in the works next week. You know, I'll keep that kind of under wraps. We'll see how that shakes out. You know, but yeah. So what do you think about this whole thing with the tariffs with India and South Korea?
What's going on right now? We get a lot of things from India. I know that. But
sure.
Yeah, but I also think that with the tariff the way they are, I think it will probably, but those are not really rich country that we really depend on, right?
Well, you know, I really wasn't so sure what all was coming from over there either. Right. So I did a little bit of research, but and we get a fair amount of electronics and auto parts and semiconductors. And the big thing is there's a lot of medical supplies and things for the pharmaceutical industry that come out of South Korea.
Okay, that's good to learn. I'm not really up on what's going on in right now because this is my business week, and I told you
sure.
Thank you for even interjecting and getting everything for me. You know, life be lifing.
For sure. For sure. And you know, the one thing that kind of caught my eye, I know all the parents are thinking about it. We've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks. Everyone getting back to school. Man, how about back to school spending hit $41 billion with a B? $41 billion. That's a whole lot of Jordans and backpacks and school clothes and shoes and all that good stuff. So so you know, that was just our quick 1 minute, our quick money minute, just what happened in the last week since we were last with you guys. So you know, when you started this, you know, you challenged me about the book that I'm reading. So okay. I told you I went to the bookstore and like I got the next 5 books. Like you're not going to catch me with no book again.
So what's the book of the month this month, Aaron?
Yes. Start with No. It's a book by Jim Camp. It's a sales book about negotiation and just how to have conversations and negotiate. But what I'm realizing is that we negotiate with things a lot more than just with business. I mean, everything's a negotiation. When you have a conversation with your kids or your spouse about where you're going to go for dinner, what's for dinner, where we're going to go, or we're going to go here on vacation, all those things are a negotiation. So, man, book has really been blessing me. And I tell you, one of the main points from like chapter 1 is like that no is the beginning and not the end. And so, you know, what he means by that, or what I got from that is when you're having a conversation with someone and someone tells you no, generally, if you ask a follow-up question after no, you're gonna get some honest dialogue. You're gonna be able to get somewhere. It's not the fluff answer like yes, or the one that we always hate that's totally useless is the maybe. So when you get a no, sometimes that begins honest dialogue there. And so yeah, and then one of the other points I thought was pretty strong was that that instead of setting a goal for an outcome, set goals based on your behavior. Right? Because we don't really have control over the outcome. We have control over our behaviors. If I want to write $1 million in annuity business this month, that's kind of hard to say. I don't know how much money all the people who scheduled appointments with me are going to have. So that's kind of like an arbitrary number. Like we can shoot for that and push for that, but there's no real measurement. The more valuable goal would be to set a goal as far as how many conversations you're going to have, how many follow-ups you're going to have, those type of things that you can measure with your actions, and also let you kind of take your hands off the wheel when it comes down to the outcome. Because sometimes when you start thinking on the outcome, you stop thinking about servicing your client the right way, and you start thinking about what you're going to do with after you close this deal. So yeah, those were a couple of the takeaways for me, and we got time for one more.
When with no, I was thinking about the word no. I don't really hear a lot of no's in my business. I hear a lot of I'm afraid. I don't want to do this. Uncle Sam did this. I hate the IRS. The IRS did this. The IRS did that. I hear a lot of people not taking accountability for their action. I'm like, as a citizen of the United States, taxes. We're talking about entrepreneurs. We know that taxes is the basis of how this United States function. You cannot run away from it. There's some things they can do to cushion your fall, but you're going to have a fall regardless of what you do, because people don't realize that the money that you put into self-employment tax, once you owe that money, it would have been like a W-2 person. They have a certain amount taken out of your check every 2 weeks or annually, depending on how you're paid. So as an entrepreneur, you need to learn self-discipline with the answer of no, no, no. Do I need this? Do I want this? Should I buy this? The answer should be no. Some of the things, and like I told my clients, set aside an account. Every time you make $1,000, put away 10% or 20% of that money. Pay yourself first, because you are the entrepreneur. You are the one that, is the vehicle behind your business. But you also got to put away the money side that you owe Uncle Sam. And now at the end of the year, I owe $10,000. Yeah, you did that. You didn't put away. You know the rules of the game. And if you don't play the game the right way, you lose.
Well, you got to strategize. When you start moving up in life and your financial picture becomes a little bit more complicated, when you have more investments, when you have businesses and things of that nature, you have to have a strategy.
Right.
You can't just run in there just willy-nilly and then at the end of the year you're just going to go find the cheapest tax software that you can find and process it yourself. I mean, hope is not a strategy for success. So yeah, those they need to have those conversations. I would imagine that if your business is anything like mine, we hear sometimes we hear a fair amount of no when people think about the investment, because a lot of times people may think about, oh man, well, how much is it going to cost me to how much are you going to charge to do this or file my taxes or whatever? But really, that's the wrong question, because it's that's going to keep you out of trouble. That's going to, you don't want to, there's certain things you don't want to skimp on. And I think sometimes people maybe don't appreciate those in the financial space as much as they should. Just like, because I've never heard anybody say, do you know a cheap doctor? My heart's been troubling me. Do you know a cheap doctor? Dr. Huie, do you know a cheap doctor that I could go to and help me? No, you want to go see the best doctor.
But you can go to prison for the IRS. But I'm always, how much you charge? I charge this. But you want your business to be successful. Like you said, when your picture comes in front of a lender, you want your picture to look good. You want to write off everything. If you make $10,000 or $100,000, you want to write off $99,000. That's looking like your business only made $1,000. So if you're not putting away that money every month for the self-employment tax, you're doing yourself a disservice. You have to put that away, and you're going to owe taxes. You understand? Unless you have some vehicles that you set up in place to protect yourself. My price is my price, and my price is my price.
Hey, there it goes. I mean, at the end of the day, people pay for things that they respect and things that they value and that they want. Absolutely. So price is really not the issue. Like, honestly, if price comes up in a conversation, I really think it comes down to, we probably failed at some point communicating the value, because there's no way that you should be having this question, about price. So,
because people want to say they're entrepreneur, people want to say they're business owner, people want to say they are, but in reality, like I tell someone, if your business makes 10,000 or 10 million, my price is going to be my base price. So if you lost, you're still going to pay me with somebody that made $1 million, because it's the service that I'm giving to you. It's the service that I'm giving to you. Your car payment is your car payment regardless of who you buy it from. You understand?
Facts.
If you have a $10,000 Toyota or you have a $10,000 Jaguar, the payment is there. You can pay other people, but y'all want to skim when it comes to small businesses. And when the big business do you a problem, then you want to, no. But when the small business that's there for you, I'm not going to send out any name, because I know there's some tax company during the summertime, you need something, you can't get them.
Sure.
You can't get them. And then if you do get them, their turnover is so high that you don't get that personal touch. And I'm from the old school. I want to call and talk to you. I want to call and ask you questions. I don't want Jimmy, Joe, Susie, Tom that don't know me answering my question. But people, when they see something cheap, they feel like, okay, let me say yes, instead of your answer should be no, because the money that you put up in the short term help you in the long term. Because when you do taxes or when you do any financial service for your business, it's a tax write-off. So either you let Uncle Sam take your money or you use your money and do what's best for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you want to have the best services, bottom line. Like, I mean, it really doesn't make sense when I see people do that. It really is puzzling to me. Like when it comes down to those things, because those are all investments in your business.
Right.
Who your advisors are, your tax advisor, your legal advisor, who's your bankers, who's your consultants, who's helping you with your insurance, who's helping you with these different things. These people are your advisors, and you don't want to. Why would you
shortchange yourself on things that?
Because you're shortchanging yourself.
Right.
That's it. And I think another part of it too is that you can't guarantee the results. You know, if I come to you and ask you to do my taxes, it's a math problem.
Right.
Yes, you can use your expertise to make sure that I'm writing off everything that I should be writing off and help me to plan for the future, to structure things properly. But you're not a magician. So if I made $1 million and I ain't paid nobody nothing,
you're gonna owe.
Yeah, you're gonna owe.
You're gonna owe.
You're gonna owe.
You're gonna owe.
Very true.
So I like the book that you're reading, No, because I'm also learning to embrace the word no. Like I had a client, I was yes. And then when it came down to it was no, but he had a big problem. And I'm like, you know what? Him saying no to me probably was a blessing to me in disguise, because I don't know what kind of the ramification of us trying to fix what he needed done. So sometimes no from the other person, from the consumer, is better than yes from me, because I won't most likely say no. I'm always trying to help somebody, but like Tara say, everybody's not your client. Everybody's not your client.
And you know, one thing that a topic that came up in the book is talking about how win-win negotiations don't always work, and that's a way that kind of illustrates that, because sometimes if we're just so focused on making a deal and making an agreement with somebody, you'll make a terrible deal.
Right.
You know, you'll go chase down this client to go get this deal, and you didn't even price it properly, and it's going to cost you money to do it. But you were just, you know, you wanted to get that yes so bad that you did something that didn't even make sense to you. You know, and you're like, dang, why did I do that? Like, I actually was reading, you know, one of the examples they gave in the book. It was a company that provided, they did copy machines or some type of expensive printing product. And the dude kind of got caught up in that. Like, they've been doing business with him a long time. And so the sales rep gave away the whole farm. It's to the point where the company was losing $100,000 on every machine that they shipped.
Okay.
And so they had to go back and renegotiate. And of course, everybody thought that was taboo. Like, well, why? How can you go renegotiate? You made that deal. You gotta live with it. It's like, no, I'm tearing up $100,000 every time I send you something. The goal is for us to make money, and not to lose money. So if my client can't appreciate the fact that the person I sent in there to negotiate made a terrible deal, and we can come to something that makes more sense, then you're just gonna have to think what you think about me, man. But I'm not gonna go broke just to appease you over a mistake that was somebody made on my team.
I learned that no too when I put up the 4th office in another city. I realized at the end I should have said no in the beginning, but you always trial and error. No one as a business owner tell you, okay, the blueprint, unless you're buying into a franchise. And with you buying into a franchise, it's not even 100% guaranteed that you're gonna make it, because I know the Burger King down where I live shut down, but Burger King is all over the United States that are successful. So in this life called entrepreneurship, you gotta do the ebbs and flow, the up and down. So that's why we're telling you as entrepreneurs, learn how to say no from every standpoint. If something looks too good to be true, most of the time it's not true. So learn how to say no, learn how to accept no also, because if I had, accepted the no and not trying to say, I wouldn't have walk away with such a big loss. But everything is a lesson learned. So, you just move on with the no.
Yeah. You said a mouthful right there, but you're 100% spot on. Sometimes you got to just let no be no, because part of that too is when you're talking to someone, you can't come off, you can't be needy if you will, you know what I'm saying? So you have to understand that the universe, where we live, it's an abundant place. There's tons of opportunities. So if this client in front of you is not the right one for you, if this doesn't line up, it's okay, because guess what? The next one, the right one is coming along, and same for them. If it didn't line up for the service for them, they'll be able to find someone else. So I think we got to just be comfortable with that. And the last thing, I'm having so much fun with this, talking about this book. I'm just all over it. But one question that I really love that he asked in the book is, when you ask a client, when you're talking to them about onboarding a service or a sales call, whatever the question, whatever the process might be, but just to ask them, what would make this a bad idea for you?
Okay.
People usually don't frame questions, that way in a sales conversation. And what I've learned is sometimes when you ask a question in a way that someone was not expecting, or ask something they weren't expecting to answer, they'll just go ahead and tell you the truth because they didn't have a lie loaded. And that might sound funny, but no, that's been kind of my experience. And when you ask that, you're also going to give yourself some real clues as into what's important to the person you're dealing with.
Okay, we want to give some shout out for the people that's watching us and listening to us, and our faithful listener. Terry Handy, big shout out, like and share. Danita Davis, like and share. Everybody on here, like and share, because we are doing this from our heart. We're doing this for our community. When I reached out and we were looking around, when Aaron and I sat down and say, how can we contribute to our community, we realized that financial literacy was one of the things that we did not have. Do you know, if you have kids, we didn't know that you can do an IUL for $40 a month if your child is under the age of 10, when you catch it really fast, based on compounded interest. If you have grandkids, if you have little kids under 10, please reach out to us. You can have an IUL and it matures in 20 years. You're talking about a child that's 10, and when they get 30, they have $200,000-$300,000, depending on the amount that you put away. We're talking about generational wealth. We're talking about building for our future, but we're not putting our money where our mouth is. Like I'm telling people, okay, if I knew what an IUL is, we're not only life insurance, but we're talking about ensuring that our kids, when we have every guest coming here, I had a set of young women coming here. What would you tell your younger self? If I was telling my younger self, I would talk about IULs. You understand? Sure. I would talk about vehicles for making us be financial literate. And we have young people are passing away. We have, like Aaron said, you can never be overinsured. You can only be underinsured. And like I tell women that sit in front of me when I'm doing your taxes, think a bit about it this way. Do you think someone is going to genuinely take care of your child that you birthed into this earth if you pass away and you leave nothing?
They're gonna take care of them the way that they want to take care of them.
They want to take care of them.
And that might not meet your standard.
Right.
But I wanna rewind a little bit because I'm tracking with you, but some people may not know what an IUL is.
Okay.
So can you break it down, or you want to give the definition of what that stands for?
It's an index universal life. That's what an IUL, because it's the buzzword, but it was never the buzzword in our community.
Sure.
I'm just learning about it within the last 2-3 years because I'm in the insurance space. But if you can tell somebody to tell somebody, even if it's not with me or with Aaron, look up what an IUL is.
Yeah, look at it.
How does it ensure? We're always talking about generational wealth. We are a set of people that talk, but there's no action behind our talk. I don't care if you want to be upset with me today, but I'm saying it. We are a generation of people that is more talk about, look at me, see how I run, see how Jane runs, see how the cat bark, see how, but we're not putting our money. We are trillion. We spend trillions and trillions of dollars on unnecessary stuff. But for the pair of sneakers, you can ensure that your child generational wealth is taken care of.
Yeah. Absolutely. And
can you give your take on what an IUL and what you think it is?
Well, I mean, you nailed it as far as the definition, but
Right.
But I think the real beautiful thing about the IUL is those are what I would consider permanent insurance policies. So your whole life policies and your IUL policies, those are going to be like your whole life policies. But the real value of this policy in particular, this type of policy, is it works different than other insurance.
Right.
Typically, with insurance, when you're going to insure anything, you call the insurance company and you tell them what you're going to insure. I have a 2025 BMW 750, and they're going to tell you what the rate is. But it's different when you do an IUL, because what happens is your cost of insurance is in there, because this does have an insurance component to it. But the whole idea is that you overfund it. So the cost of the insurance is the minimum amount that you want to put in there. And that just makes sure that you have the life insurance piece in place.
Right.
But by overfunding that is going to allow for you to really accumulate wealth and really stack up some funds. And the beautiful thing about it is you can get those monies at any time.
Right.
You can take a loan on those at any time. There's no qualifying. It's not a taxable event. You don't have to wait till you're 59 and a half. You fill out the form, you tell them how much you need, and if that's available in 48 hours, the ACH hits your bank account, and life goes on. But the real beauty of it was when you do that is you don't even necessarily have to pay those loans back.
Right, you don't.
No, because like, for example, I was looking at a case today, and the particular index we were looking at, it was averaging about 14% return, is what it's been doing on average. Well, the cost for the loan is 3%. So which means that if you take a loan out on the money that you have available, basically the first 3% of what you're getting, that's going back to pay that loan. But that 11, that's the cost of the interest on it. That 11% that you're still calculating on top of that, whatever the market may do, those things are going to pay back that loan. And if you did even have a loan outstanding, when you pass, they just reduce it from the death benefit.
Right.
So it's just it's a great way to do things. And, I think people really should take advantage of that, tucking that money away.
Right.
And I talked to an attorney. She's an asset protection attorney. She absolutely loves IULs.
Right.
She told me, she said, these are bulletproof.
Right.
She said, I don't care who sues you for what reason. I don't care if you get divorced. I don't care if somebody comes after the business, they come after the house, they come after whatever they want.
Right.
But they can't touch that because that money is inside of an insurance contract.
Right.
And that's untouchable.
Right.
So those are some really, really powerful things that I really like about that. But just the fact that you can, get that going over life. Like I was looking at a young man, as you said, typically 20 years is the contribution period, but he was looking at doing about $200 per month.
Okay.
And when I ran the numbers, in 20 years, he's a little north of a quarter ticket.
Right.
That stuff really adds up. And if he didn't do anything else and he just let that sit to 60, 65, 70, we're getting up into the millions. Yeah.
Right.
And just from a small amount when you're younger. So I know while any of the young folks that are listening to the show, I know you're feeling invincible, you're feeling bulletproof, you're feeling like, you can't get sick, you can't get hurt, but you can. So take advantage of that and buy these permanent insurance policies while you're young, because the cost of insurance is so much cheaper. So like, for example, for someone in their 20s to put a couple $100 a month in a plan like that, yes, you can accumulate some wealth. Me, I'm 47 years old. That ain't going to get it for me. So I'm gonna have to, probably be north of $600, $700, $800, maybe $1,000 a month to really stack something up at this stage in the game, because the cost of insurance is higher. So man, I really need my young people to tap in and really take heed to that, man. But I tell you what, I've been really super encouraged, man. There's been like 3-4 young men I talked to this week that are just killing it, man. It's giving me hope, making me feel good about, the generation. When they start talking about these kids, I'm like, what kids you talking about? I don't know. The ones I'm talking about, they handling business.
Okay, so we're talking about budget, because the IUL, we talk about the IUL because we wanted to let you know that could be a part of your what? Your budget.
Of course.
Right. Put away $50. Like I tell everybody, whenever I get paid, I put $100. I pay me first. My paycheck may not be that big, but I pay me first. I buy something for me and I put $100 away. If you put $100 a week, there's 52 weeks in a year. That's $5,200 that you're saving over some amount of years, because you can't put everything in one area. Like Fannie Willis said, I put some under my bed. So what about teaching budgeting and investing?
Well, I tell you, we got to teach that to our children early. Both of those are key points, the budgeting and investing, and one of the suggestions that I saw that some of the parents were doing, I thought was a great idea. When your kids want something really expensive, like a $200-$300 pair of sneakers or the super new iPhone or whatever, make them earn some money on that. Make them put $100 on it. Make them put $50 on it, so they can have some appreciation for it. And that kind of goes to that budgeting and also into that investing piece of it, because you gotta teach them how to budget, because it would be great if we could all just go and just go buy whatever we want whenever we want, and there was no consequences to that. But that's not a fact. That's not reality. And if you do that, you're going to be in terrible financial shape, and you'll be calling us for help quick.
Can you pay your kids legally? Like, can you pay your kids legally when you're talking about the taxes? And that's one of the questions that came up. Yes, you can pay your kids legally. You can pay them up to a certain amount of money, but the state varies by how much you can pay. And that's a tax write-off if you have an LLC. If your child is under 18 years old. So you have to know the rules. You can't just say, oh, I paid them $50,000. I'm going to write them off. If you are structured and you're going to do certain things, then you can write off your kids legally. If not, you can't.
And you can, and what is it, like the first, I don't want to, you're the tax expert, but I know it's, I want to say it's like 20,000 or somewhere in that neighborhood that you're able to do tax free. So now think about that from a point of a tax strategy again. Okay. So your kids helping out around the house or helping out around the business, doing things for you, you pay them. You don't have to pay taxes on that. They don't have to pay taxes on that. That's a great way to go ahead and help them get some savings going, get some investing going, go ahead and, put some of those monies away. And, one thing I think, I only have one more left at home. The rest of them are grown. But when he gets to the point where he's working and earning money, I think I'm going to make him contribute. I'm only going to let him probably have access to maybe half of it, because he don't need nothing. We pay for everything. And so all he's going to do is go waste it. So, just put it up for him, and give it to him as a graduation gift or give it back to him. It reminds me, I saw this thing with Kevin Hart, and he was saying his mother did something similar. And she was every week, I guess she would make him give him $100 when he was working. And so he moved out. I guess he moved to LA. He was trying to get everything going with his career and whatnot. He was struggling. It was hard for him. I mean, as we all know, nothing is that easy, especially entertainment. It's very difficult. And so he said he was calling his mom and said, "Mom, it's really been hard, blah, 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 blah." He said, "Well, have you been reading your Bible, Kevin?" "Yeah, Ma, I read the Bible, but listen, the rent is due, Ma, and I'm going through XYZ." have you been reading your Bible, Kevin?
Right.
Yes, I've been reading. He's sitting there lying to his mom
Right.
because what she did is she had put all them $100 bills throughout the Bible. And so when he did finally crack the Bible, he knew why she kept saying it, because there was a few $1,000s in there for him, put up to the side. But I just thought that was a cool story, because you know what, if she hadn't done that, he probably just would have wasted it, you know. I know I sure wasted everything when I was a kid. So what money rule did you learn late in the game that you think these children really need to learn early?
IULs.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially if you're working, I think the parents should set that up. At first, I was a little bit apprehensive, but with an IUL, you can become your own bank. So we can move away from traditional bank of owing. Because now today I had, my book is right here. I keep a book with me. I'm paying all my credit card debt. And I'm like, if I had an IUL, I wouldn't have all this credit card debt. You need credit cards. Remember, there's good debt and bad debt, because that's how I fund my business through the slow season, because now is the slow season. But January, February, March, April, May, June, those are the fast season. Now it's the slow season. I'm using credit card. And credit card is a good thing if you know how to use it. And if you budget and you are disciplined. Is that the word? Discipline.
Discipline. Because, everything when the finances, it comes down to choices over time. It's not there's very rarely going to be a home run where you just knock it out the park and you just made this huge financial step. It's more like these small, consistent steps, day over day over day. And discipline is a very good point, because sometimes people will talk to you about these policies and whatnot, and they'll get excited about what you can save and how much you can accumulate and all the rest of that. And they let their mind run away with them, and they forget about the B word that you said in the beginning, budgeting. So I got excited because, hey, you showed me this illustration, and if I put $2,000 a month away or $3,000 or whatever, oh wow, this is going to grow really quick. But the whole thing with this insurance is you have to have it enforced when you need it. If you get a policy that you can't afford, no matter what kind of insurance it is, you're probably not going to have it when you need it. And and so that's why it's important to just budget, do it properly. You always could write another policy in the future if things change. If right now you can do $50 a month, $100 a month on that policy, do that. If things change in the future and now you can save $1,000 a month or $2,000 or something like that, we can write another policy. There's no limit to the number of insurance policies that you can have. So
what's one thing that you think business owner, because I struggle with this in my business, you say it's automation. What does that mean?
Yeah, automation means removing yourself from routine tasks that you don't necessarily need to do. So a lot of the onboarding things, when you're bringing on a new client, there might be certain information that you need to collect or certain forms that need to get sent out to them. You can automate those type of things so that that information goes out, but you're not having to take your time to actually do that. There's an automated way to do that. So just putting anything in place that'll help you. So the top 5 automations that every 6- and 7-figure entrepreneur needs, in my opinion, missed call text back. You familiar with missed call text back, Dr. Huie? You know what that is?
Missed call, it's automated. If somebody call you, then it sends them a message.
Yeah, which is great because people are very impatient. So, if you're on the phone, the line's busy, goes to your voicemail, you can have an automated message go directly to the client who just reached out to you so that you can keep that process moving, because we all know that sometimes people do not want to wait, and they'll just they'll see who was behind you on the Google list, and they'll just go ahead and give them a call.
Okay, we're talking about budgeting. Automation also, when it comes to it, can be a detriment to your business, believe it or not. Certain automation, because I know I have my bills on automation, and I know sometimes I forget that I need to cancel something, and 2 or 3 months later I'm paying for some company thing because I put it on automation and forget about it. So in a budgeting standpoint, every month you need to look over all your subscription of whatever you do, because there's some of the things that become antiquated, because I have a lot of forms that I pay for on automation, but in reality, I may not need it. So automation on a budget standpoint could have some good setback and some bad setback, because I know I'm looking, why are they charging me $3.99? Why am I paying Apple $199? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that?
You
So
forget.
automation, sometimes it depends on if you have a check and balance system.
Very true. Very true. I mean, yeah, you definitely can't just let it run away, because it's real easy to do that. And you forget about something, especially if it's a small amount, $5, $10, $20. You may not notice that on your statement. But there's a free tool out there. I would tell everybody, encourage everybody to download. It's the Rocket Money app.
Okay.
Oh man, it's awesome. So with the Rocket Money app, you can log in, you can link your bank accounts and things of that nature. It will tell you all the subscriptions that you have, and you literally can cancel them right there with the push of a button. You're like, oh wow, I didn't realize I had 2 Amazon Primes. Cancel. Oh, I didn't realize I still had this. Cancel. And you can do all that right there. It also gives you some really good budget tools. So it will show you where you're spending your money. So if you're sitting there with a big question mark at the end of the month, like, man, where did all this money go? It'll help you. And you might be mad when you see that coach got 80% of your paycheck this month. It might piss you off, but it's good information. So I'd encourage everybody to do that, because you're right. With all these, they want to put everything on auto billing, and just to make it makes it easy for you with the service that you want, but it also makes it real easy for the business to go ahead and keep you on tab, and you don't know what's going on. But just on that note, like you were saying, that people sometimes forget about these things or whatnot. The Federal Trade Commission actually came out with something now to unsubscribe from your service. It has to be just as many clicks or less than it took for me to sign up. So if I can give you my credit card and you can start charging me in 3 clicks, it can't be more than 3 clicks for me to get off of your stuff. So I think that's pretty nice.
Yeah, because I tried to cancel a company today, and when I was signing up, it took me 1 minute, but they're saying, oh, you have to write an email and send the email in. But when I was doing it, I didn't have to do all of that. So I feel like sometimes company trying to trap you, because then you'd be like, oh, I forget my email. You understand?
Sure.
Forget to send the email. And they're like, oh, we charge you, and there's nothing you can do because we already charged you.
Exactly. So what do you think about online scheduling? I think that's one of those automations that everybody should have. How you feel about that?
I have to use that, because with the job that I have, I can't always set like the reminder and set the appointment. So the automation sometimes come through. You're like, check your stuff. You have somebody set up a schedule for you.
Yeah.
But you have to check it. That's the only thing. Sometimes when you get busy, you have these scheduling thing, and then you forget to check it. But having a scheduler, I personally like Calendly. I think it's a good one, because it alerts you the week of. It alerts you a half an hour before, so you can set it up to the way that you want it. So that's one that I do support. And every month or so, they're coming up with new ideas that could make it even better. And you can link it to a lot of the CRMs that we do use.
Sure. No, I agree with you 100%, because the beautiful thing about it, when you publish a calendar link and you have an online schedule, you can put that in your email. You can put that in your signature line. You can put that in your bio on your social media stuff. And instead of having to make 2 or 3 phone calls, okay, I'm trying to schedule a meeting with Aaron. Let me call Aaron, see if he's available. Okay, Aaron wasn't available. Aaron, I'm trying to schedule a meeting. He's trying to call me back now. But guess what? If I put that link out there, he can go on there and he can compare it to his schedule. Okay, we're both free at 2 p.m. on Thursday. Okay, cool. Let's do that. So I love it to save in on the back and forth, because it'll save you 3-4 phone calls trying to schedule a meeting, just to be able to, put that out there. What about onboarding, paperless onboarding? How you feel about that one?
It depends on the generation you're in. Certain generation, and also to me, it becomes, I know we're saving a tree, but sometimes it becomes impersonal. Like we're used to going to the doctor and filling things in. Now here's an iPad, 500 people. If there's viruses, you're telling me to put a mask on my face, but you're giving me an iPad that 50, 60 people already touched. So, and it's dirty and it's nasty and it's disgusting. So, and then like when I call the bank, put in this, and then the automation come through, and then sometimes the automation is not working, and it asks you a bunch of questions and carry on. When it could have been just a human being answer you. We're losing the human touch with all of this automation stuff. And that's why the depression rate is so high in the United States, because we're not having that human interaction. We don't know how to communicate effectively with other people because we're losing that skill. It's like we're turning into androids and robots.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like it.
Me neither. The bank gets on to me all the time. Like, I'll go in there for something. They're like, you could do this online.
We know that.
Yes, I know, but I want to talk to a human being. Is that okay? Would it be all right with you if I speak to a human? So yeah, that's I agree with you. I think you do have to consider what generation you're dealing with. But in general, if the generation you're dealing with is open to it, and if it's appropriate for your particular service, it can help, because losing just keeps the information straight, because it's going in electronically. So there's zero chance of me miskeying it, because it's already in there.
But the risk for theft is even higher, because when I'm in the IRS conference and they're talking about like the scammer, like the scamming, why we're all having this ID me now and having all these checks and balance system, because there's so much online robbery. There's a black market. There's so many things that your information is being sold on the black market. If you're thinking something or you talk something, your phone picks it up. If you have paper and pencil, it's not going to pick it up. So certain things I think it just shouldn't be.
Agreed.
He said agreed.
Agreed. I mean,
it makes it more accessible for people to tamper and tinker with when it's all done electronically. And then also, with me working in the school system, sometimes the safeguard that we have in place, the computer go down, and the kids are so used to having the computer. When it comes to paper and pencil, they freak out, like, oh, we have to write. They don't know how to write. We're losing this. And you know what I see is coming back? They're coming back to writing.
Good.
2 or 3 years ago, people didn't even know how to sign. We're losing the art of being human, of being real. We're coming more computer general. And remember, robots don't have feelings. And we're losing mobility in our arms. So if you're not using your hand, what you think going to happen? More arthritis, more medicine you have to take. So we're taking something away, but we don't realize that we're replacing it with something that's sometimes irreparable. We're losing kids that can't read because everything is read to them or fed to them. We don't touch paper. We're losing books that have so much history in it. And I'm from the old school. I like writing things down, because if I write this down, you can't steal it from me if I bring it home and put it under my bed. If I put it on the computer, you can take it.
Sure.
It's just one little 10 or 12-year-old sitting there that can just uncode it or decode. Remember, everything that you do, there's somebody behind you sitting down trying to figure out how to undo it.
Absolutely. And when you talk about doing things online, when you write things down, it kind of hardwires it in your head too. Like when it comes down to writing down your plans, things that your goals are, it's something about writing that down on paper, that I think kind of reinforces that to yourself and kind of makes it real. And certain things I have to print out. Like if it's a short document, I may be able to read it online. If we're going more than 2 pages, I'm sorry, I'm about to kill the tree. It's coming out that printer, and I need to touch it and go through it. It gets very hard to follow. So I can only imagine if someone, the children learning to read, that it seemed like that would be a little difficult for them.
Even the biblical principles say, make your vision and write it down and make it clear.
Make it plain.
And make it plain. So you're telling me something that's been there from creation. Men was writing on stones. So you're telling me because computers are there, we should just eliminate everything that's even money. We're like, our money is losing and going away to cryptocurrency and all this other stuff. And then you're going to have a set of people that's controlling everything, because what you have, you can't hoard it because somebody can take a button and press it. So there's certain things that I'm against. I think I want my paper and pencil. I want my cash money. I want to see. And then I think it's a shift in the deficit you see with how much bill we owe now. We owe in the trillions and trillions.
Crazy.
Because people are not seeing the tangible evidence of money. They see a card. Even my son, Mom, can I borrow your card? And run it up to $16,000, because you're not seeing it. If I had $16,000 and every day he's getting $100 from me, it'll be different than him just going online.
Sure.
This is rigged for it to happen.
Of course.
Because,
Well,
like you're not thinking, okay, I'm spending this till you get a balance.
Nah, you swiping a card.
Right.
It doesn't equate. And I mean, that's the same reason why the casino gives you chips.
Right.
If you had to slide over $200, two crispy $100 bills every time you made that bet, you probably wouldn't make so many if it wasn't going your way.
Right.
It would be easier to backtrack. So yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. So, if you guys want to tap in and you want us to help you and take a look at what you have going on in your business systems, you want us to take a look at what you got going on with taxes, retirement, just go ahead and text text the word unlocked, UNLOCKED to 470-748-4045. Again, text unlock to 470-748-4045. We'll go ahead and get you scheduled for a smart money moves conversation. That's free of charge, so we can help you get in the right way, because we want to make sure that people have the right information. And what we're all about is just installing systems for growth and for conversion, and just helping businesses grow and to be more efficient. So, sometimes people are feeling like they're overworked, and they get pissed off at me when I say this, but I said, no, your systems are just underbuilt. It's not too much work. It's just you're doing it the wrong way. So that's my 2 seconds there, just about just how to automate and elevate, because you gotta, if it's a repetitive thing that can be automated, you should consider doing that, because it's going to free you up and it's going to save you ultimately time on payroll and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Okay. If you want to be a sponsor, or if you want to be a guest on our show, how can they reach you? You can reach me at 404-791-8840, or you can go on IG under the Tax Diva, or you can reach out to Aaron Carr. We're trying to build our brand. We want to know what the community is talking about. So if you want to be a guest, if you want to share some expertise, it takes more than just us trying to build this village. We're trying to leave. You talk about generation, well, put where your money is, where your mouth is. Let's see the year getting brighter, sponsoring some children, setting up some IUL for your kids, making what we say. So later on, when we look back, we say shoulda, coulda, woulda, because if I knew what an IUL is or was 20, 30 years ago, we probably wouldn't even be sitting here.
Man, it's funny. I was telling that young man that today. I said, man, if I could have met at 20 years old, if I could have met the 47-year-old version of me,
right,
and listened to him, oh Lord, my goodness,
unstoppable.
So, the last thing on this on the automation piece is just that, and I think you'll agree with me on this, Dr. Huie, that clean digital trails and organization helps you to simplify your taxes and audit readiness. If it's clear what they're doing, doesn't that help you when you're preparing their taxes and helping them to get those things done? No, maybe
I don't understand the question.
Don't understand the question. Sure. Would you agree that keeping clean documents and clean trails with your paperwork and organizing your things simplifies your taxes when you're organized, and would make you easier to deal with the audit? If you had an audit come up, you'll be able to get to your information.
I believe that having systems in place, like having a software that does it, or not even having a software, making sure you download all your statement. It's not more about having it organized on paper. It's about keeping it in one spot or two spot. As business owner, we have a business bank account, we have a personal bank account, we have a credit card, we have this. So keeping those are really good. Having a way of, if you do have an audit within 30 days, you can set it up. You can say, okay, this is here, this is here, this is here, this is here. That is truly what you're saying makes sense.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. I'm glad I got something right. I feel good. Dr. Huie. Give me a gold star. Okay. So I want you to let's talk in this last segment here about unlocking the unknown and about what they don't teach us in school, and in particular, and I'm really going to rely heavily on you with this segment here. I want to talk about how your business structure could be costing you money. So like, for example, what I mean is, like, when should somebody be an LLC? When should they switch to an S Corp? When should they switch to a C Corp? Because we hear all this stuff about when we should do these different things. And I think people don't really know. I think people have gotten so good at selling the sizzle that we listen to these people that sound good that we don't necessarily, bother to really fact check it. Like, is this good for me? Because tax advice and investment advice is not one size fits all. It all depends on where you are, what you're doing, what your goals are. So what are your thoughts on that? Like,
if you're a new business coming in, I wouldn't say go into an S Corp. That's an election that you can do later on. You should be an S Corp based on the profits that you make once you pay off everything. If your profit is over $50,000 to $75,000, that's when you should switch from an LLC to an S Corp because it offers certain benefits. But if you're under a certain and you're not making it, you can't do a K1 and you can't do, it wouldn't even make sense. I don't really get into C Corps because that's the big boys. Sure. And I'm more of a small business tax person, LLCs and S Corp, not the C Corp and the big. But you have to do what's right for your business. Get a attorney to set it up the correct way. These are elections, so you can start one and move up as you go. Sometimes if you switch, it's hard to switch back, but know what you're getting in. Test the water for at least 2 to 3 years. Like the IRS, they give you 5 years to see if this is a hobby or if this is a business. Give yourself grace. Like, learn the ropes before you jump into the water and have something to hang on to. And we will discuss this further because we're running out of time. So for us to just tip on the iceberg of something so intricate, I think that's something that we'll revisit it. We'll revisit that.
Yeah. We'll stick a pin in that. We'll leave some space for that conversation. It's very important.
Okay.
We'll definitely get back to that next week. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in. You're listening to AC the Money Guy
and Dr. Shannon Huie. This is the Wealth Code Unlocked. It's not wealth as we're talking about money, like we had other clients come in. It's wealth talking about health. It's talking about mental.
Balanced life, right?
It's life. It's you being balanced on all, exercising, nurturing yourself, nurturing what you like, nurturing your family, and nurturing the need, nurturing you, what makes you wealthy, not what I say. Or if you have $100,000 and you're sick, that doesn't make you wealthy. So the Wealth Code is talking about the whole human being, not just pieces of it.
I love that. And that's very important because I think too many people get caught up and fall in love with money these days, and they're running around chasing dollars, and half the time they can't even tell you why they want it. If you ask them why they want to make $1 million, they'll say, I don't know. It just sounds like a good number to make, but thanks again for tuning in. If you guys want the Wealth Code working in your business, book your free Smart Move strategy call. You can do that by calling at 470-748-4045, 470-748-4045, or you can text the word unlock to 470-748-4045. And we'll see you next Thursday, same time, same code, unlock yours.
Okay. Peace out. Ooh.